Hello, Al Pals. I have no idea if you're hearing this because, as we all know, sometimes when you click live, it's not quite starting. But I'm sure by now it is. Hi, Al Pals. How you guys doing? Very merry Christmas Eve to you. I am here with a very merry Mr. Troy Pacelli. Please say hi if you can.
Merry Christmas, everybody! How are you all? I'm so glad you all. I'm surprised that we got 10 people waiting to, and that's I haven't refreshed in a while, so maybe more, maybe less. But I'm so glad you all made it. Merry Christmas! Hi.
Yeah, I am so. Yeah, I'm glad everybody was here waiting. You're all engaged with them as much as you're engaged with. So what is your Kraken? Is that what your medicine of
No,
choice is tonight?
no. I made my drink upstairs where I make my fruit cakes, and there was just the cheap golden spiced rum, and I just went ahead and used that in my hot
Oh,
toddy.
nothing wrong with that.
It was the same
You
thing I
know,
was
nothing.
using in my
nothing
eggnog, so I've had a double.
say it, isn't the traditional hot toddy bourbon though,
It
or,
is,
or
but it
something?
actually calls for really any brown alcohol. And I said, you know what, golden rum is technically a brown booze, so I went with that. And a little
Yeah,
bit of
like if
mhm.
it's like mommy, daddy are fighting over the brown water again.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
just a bourbon joke.
But
But
I
I
got
just
all
want to wish
the.
you, like I said,
Hmm? I'm sorry, I did
oh,
not
I was
mean
just,
to
I was just,
interrupt. Did you?
I just wanted to, oh God, have mercy. Um,
Someone
just wanted to
earlier
say hi. Let me,
was saying that they wanted you to have a couple of drinks so that we could have a drunk cast. I said, no, I don't think Al drinks. I said, but you know who would be good? We got to talk to Fan Man about doing a drunk cast one night.
oh, yeah, I think he would be quite interesting
He has
in
been.
a drunk cast.
He has been.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure he has done more than one or two voices when he's doing other things as well.
Yep.
Just want to say, let's see who we've got so far. We've got Owen Lister, Auditor Dread. For some reason my chat's not going all the way up. Let me think. This one I
We
could go
got Auditor
all the
Dread,
way to the
Nanette
top.
Pacelli. Well, like obviously
Got
Nanette Pacelli. She's sitting right next to me. I
Owen
know she's
Lister,
here. Matchstick,
Janice Zeal,
Melissa
Matchstick,
Harris.
Melissa
Yes,
Harris in
drunk
the
with
house.
Christmas cheer. I am very cheerful. I've been, you guys may have all known from the last live stream, I've just been, Nanette and I both have been just really sick this weekend and so congested. And I was like, if I'm going to be in any condition to do a live stream, I got to clear up this congestion. I
Mm-hmm.
think I may have over medicated. It's going to be interesting.
Possibly.
I'm
Plus,
go-
plus, a little peek behind the curtain just before we logged on. I had to hear him clear his nose out. So that was
I
a
was
good time.
doing that before we went live. You weren't supposed to tell them that. Yeah, it was kind of
Oh,
gross.
of course I'm going to tell him that. I think it's because it's funny. Uh,
Poor Nanette had
Casey
to hear it
Scott
too.
High, Skipper Kenner in the house. I
Oh,
think I hit
he's
everybody.
seen me drunk
I thought I
before.
saw Chrissy Kid. I think I saw Chrissy Kitty's name floating around in here. I thought. Um, if not, oh well. If she listens to this later, hi Chrissy. How you? Hopefully you're doing well on this lovely Christmas Eve, as Santa is flying across the world, ungodly mental speeds. Let you know what? Let me check NORAD. Let's see where Santa's at. I've been doing little updates all day on my Facebook and Twitter, just a few. He's in Havana, Cuba. Santa stopping to get a
Oh,
few
tell him to pick up
cigars
some rum for me
for.
while he's there, huh?
Oh yeah, he goes all over the Caribbean. So he's yeah, currently he's heading for Havana, Cuba. He'll be there in approximately 40 seconds. So if any of our Al pals are listening to us in the Cuban uh, airspace, and why wouldn't they?
Skipper Kenner, what are you doing
Get to your
here? Are the
beds
kids
because
in bed
he's
already? They
kids
shouldn't
better
be.
get
It's
to
only
bed.
9 o'clock.
Santa's on his way.
No, his
Santa's on
kids
his
are
way. No,
older. They I would be
oh, that's
surprised
right.
if they
That's right.
they should
You're
not
in
be
another
they should
time
not be
zone.
hearing
So
Uncle Troy
you
all
got a little
drunk though.
time.
So don't let them listen in.
You still got a little bit of you still got some time before Santa hits his way, and he's at currently 5 trillion. Is that trillion or 5 billion? 5 billion gifts delivered. Sorry, I was thought I read too many
Too
too
many
many
zeros.
digits there.
How many of you had to drink
Yeah,
tonight, Al? Yeah.
I had a sip of lemonade. That's about it.
There's
It's weird.
lemonade
Yeah.
in my hot toddy.
Well,
Well, okay, yeah,
is it really lemonade
there's
or is
more
it
booze than
lemon?
there is lemonade, but there is lemonade in there.
Yep, asked way to Nassau in the Bahamas. So, yeah, he's during the Caribbean cruise right now. So wishing Santa well as he continues on his flight. Let's see, serious about that clock. I don't know what that was about.
Can
Let's see,
Santa bring us a
okay.
Christmas miracle and maybe a better Star Wars film? I'm just asking, spirit of the
I,
season.
you know, Star Wars. Okay, well, thank you. Leads us right into what our first topic was going to be.
I
I
kind of
wanted to
figured.
kind of get it out of the way. Had to keep the geek cred up. Not really a ton of stuff going on in geekdom this week. Everybody kind of cleared out for Star Wars, which usually happens when there's like a huge release
Yeah,
like
usually
that.
when there's
And
a big, big crash, you want to get as far away from it as you can.
well, that's the one thing I want to talk about. Let's talk about the box office. Is it a hit? Is it a flop? Or is it just a victim of circumstance?
The victim of a
So far,
lot of bad choices.
yeah, and I'll get that in a little bit. As I have seen the film, unlike you and anybody
How
else
do
who's
you
usually
know
on
I
the
haven't
show.
seen the film?
Oh, I don't. Did you see the film?
Well, no, but you didn't know
Well,
that.
there. I assume because you are all kind of just totally just not even worried about it. I have been up front since Last Jedi that I was all in for the next film because I wanted to see what happened.
Oh, wait a minute before you go into it, because I've been sporadic about the recent live streams and stuff. Obviously, I missed the last one and whatnot, so just kind of fill me in a little bit. Did you have you kind of gone into your thoughts about the most recent Star Wars film yet, or is this like the first time you're talking about it?
I've touched on it, and I'm going to touch on it a little more tonight. I'm going to eventually write a full review. It might take me a while.
Gotcha.
Just some stuff going on. I'm going to try to get a video up tomorrow. I've got visuals out, which such as they are, just basically a bunch of posters, and I'm just going to give a quick overview of what I thought of the film, and then I'm going to give from top to bottom, or actually, I'm going to start at the bottom and then go to the top of my favorites. I'm not going to call it best. Best is, I think, up to those who are much more studied in cinematic procedure. I am not. I simply know what I like, and so that's going to be my list. It's going to be the ones I like the best, down to the ones I like the least. But like this, like I said, that is for another one. But let's look at the box office so far.
Mm-hmm.
4 days in, domestic 206,700 and 3,711 domestic. International 226 million and change. Worldwide so far after 4 days 433 million. Now I know this is not Avengers numbers, of course.
It's not even Star Wars numbers.
It's barely Star Wars number, but it is a hell of a lot better than Solo did. So what can we say about it?
Well,
Can you
wait
look
a
at
minute.
this? And like I said, we're
Hold on
only
there for a second. That's kind of like comparing.
well.
That's kind of like comparing Captain Marvel to Avengers Endgame. I
Oh, I
mean,
know, I know.
that's
Well, you
kind of just to
well,
keep it in context.
I'm just saying. Yeah, like of course, but there was Solo. I think so suffered from the first thing. It wasn't a mainline Star Wars, so it wasn't a trilogy. Uh, one of the nine, the big nine, the Nazgul of the Star Wars.
I would say there's more to it than that.
I think so
In the
too.
spirit of all intellectual honesty, it's not only that, but it's also it did suffer from the backlash from Last
Backlash
Jedi.
from Last
Not to
Jedi, which is
mention the death of Solo in Force Awakens. I mean,
mhm,
I'm going to be very curious to see how Black Widow does for kind of some of the same reasons,
yeah, yeah. But can you call a film that in 4 days is made 433? Let's take the name Star Wars off of it just for a split second. I know it's hard, hard to do, but it's still gonna make money.
Hold on. There's something else.
It's still
Even if you take the Star Wars name off of it, you still got to take into account the budget, the
right,
marketing,
and it's
the
still got a
the
lot. It still has a long way to.
and when
It's
you
got a long
consider
way
all
to
of
go.
that, it is incredibly weak for where
It
they need
is.
to be right now.
It
Not
is
only for this
underperforming.
movie, but for the overall franchise.
It is
This
underperforming.
is a huge black eye for Disney. It really is.
Um.
And we wouldn't be truly intellectually honest if we didn't admit that.
Oh yeah. It's underperforming to what any other film had been.
Yeah.
Now, I do want to say, having seen Rise of Skywalker, several things have happened in that meantime in my head. One, it has lessened my opinion of Last Jedi.
I heard that in a portion of the last live stream
Right.
that you had said. Could you elaborate a little bit on that? Because my interest is really peaked on that.
Because there are elements of Rise of Skywalker which honestly should have been in Last Jedi. And
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah.
Last Jedi is like if you think about it if you think about it as episodic television, it is now a complete throwaway episode. There's nothing in it aside from a few, like I said, those who die, and the odd single couple plot points. Nothing else in it matters anymore. It it just kind of happened. There is no there's no fallout. There was no continuation. There was no um just it's like it happened and now we can move on. Rise of Skywalker is suffering creatively and I think editorially and like I said, plot wise, from trying to shove in two movies into one. They're trying to shove in what should have been plot elements that should have happened in an episode 8 and carried on into an episode 9, but they couldn't. So they're trying to shove it all into episode 9. Does that make sense? Do I make sense with that?
As much as anything makes sense to me right now, yes.
Yeah, yeah. And with putting in all the stuff, so you have literally, okay, spoilers, folks. So this is where some spoilers are going to be, and go into a few plot points that just kind of seems a bit out there. Suddenly, at the opening crawl, Palpatine's live. There's been a broadcast that has sent shockwaves to the entire galaxy. Wouldn't that have been a really cool part of a film to see? Like suddenly Palpatine coming and then suddenly the universe going like ape crap because Palpatine's alive. No, they just kind of they give you that information. Okay, here it is. Palpatine's alive. He has a plan. He has an armada. He wants to do this. Oh, and by the way, Val wants to find Palpatine and kill him because he doesn't want it to be threatened with this thing. So he finds this device called a Sith Wayfinder, which will lead him to Exegol, the planet of the Sith, so he can find Palpatine. Literally in the first minute of the film, this is all the crap they've thrown at you. This is stuff that I would have liked to have seen a little more detail of, a little more of. And now, that being said, I think it was a pretty cool story aspect.
Wait, before you go on,
But
can I elaborate on that point real quick, Al?
But
so I think that's probably the biggest millstone that JJ has had around his neck. Really, is he's really trying to make up for or countermand everything that happened in the last movie. Almost all the legitimate criticisms that I've heard about this movie, because let's face it, there's been a lot of just sour grapes. I can admit that.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that I've heard is that he does a lot of if you want to call it fan service. I think that's unfair, but fan service that kind of rebukes the last movie. Plus, in so doing, he's trying to squeeze two movies into one to make up for the last movie, you know?
Yeah.
And help me out here, because I don't know where I was going with this, but those were the points I wanted to make.
Yeah. Oh, that's exactly it. Rise of Skywalker seems more like an outline for two films than one complete film. So you don't really get a fleshing out of the different plot points, of how things are going on. The action it's like suddenly, oh, well, we need to get this. Oh, you know what? I think there's a ship on that planet. Let's go get it. And it's like, how do you know this? You know, it's like just suddenly all the stuff is falling into their laps because they're trying to cover all these storylines and plot points to get to the end. And I just think that it's crammed in too much. It's too much crammed into the story, into the movie. It is very rushed. Like I say, it feels like you're watching. If you've ever watched anything on YouTube at like 1.5 speed, and it just feels like everything's kind of going a little fast.
I've heard that about this movie. Yes.
Yeah, it's that feeling. Now, that being said, I enjoyed the film. I truly did, because the parts that work do work. Oddly enough, I feel he did, and I know I'm going to catch a lot of crap for this, and that's fine. My shields are up. I think, and let me explain before people start getting upset when I say the word Reylo. Not talking about romantic Reylo, which they did shove in this film for like a second. Like I said, a split second of it. Suddenly there's this whole thing,
which wouldn't have even been there at all if they weren't going for the fan service. Because
if this had been built, if it had been better handled. They hinted at it a little bit in Last Jedi. I could see where people read some stuff into it, but it just kind of suddenly came out of left field in this one. But like I said, not talking about romantic Reylo. I'm talking about the interaction between Adam Driver and Daisy Ridley. I think they work well together.
I will give the actors that they definitely did have chemistry. They had far more chemistry. First, I want to say they had far more chemistry than their characters had any right having.
Right.
and they definitely had more chemistry than Hayden Christensen and Natalie
Oh,
Papa more did.
oh God, definitely. Yeah, that is, oh God. Anakin and Padme is one of the
Yes,
most
her.
chemically null relationships I've ever seen in a film, and it's painful, and it's part of the reason why I don't like the those original films a lot. Now, I will say this: uh, I like the films of the sequel trilogies better than the prequel trilogies.
You mean
However,
as cinema? Is that what you
as
mean?
cinema, as enjoyment, uh, as
Including The
a fun
Last
time,
Jedi?
including well, I'm saying if you kind of like assigned everything a point, the the sequels score higher than the prequels, but Last Jedi does bring them down. And hint, Last Jedi kind of fell into a tie with Force Awakens. So you already have a tie there. So basically, what I'm saying is that what brings the original trilogy down to where the new trilogy wins is Attack of the Clones, because Attack of the Clones, I think, is not it's not a good movie. However, like I said, I know a lot of people are already thinking, "What the hell is he talking about? He's insane." But the prequel trilogy is a better trilogy. It is a better complete 3-film concept than the
Because there
sequel,
actually was a 3-film concept.
because there was a 3-film concept.
Yeah.
If
It
JJ
wins by
had been,
default on that.
yeah, if JJ had he did the Force Awakens, which I still hold is a perfectly fine film. It's in the middle for me, but it's better than all the original the it's hard to hear when you say original. Don't mean the
The
original films
prequels.
1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4, 5, and 6, or 1, 2, and 3. Let's just get that out of the way. But the prequel trilogies, it's a more cohesive story, even though that story does kind of get grinded down a little bit. But at least it made sense. It had a flow. It had structure. But these new films don't have a structure that goes throughout them as much. Literally, Last Jedi could literally be plucked off the shelf. Uh, have Rise of Skywalker um, taken and split into 2 movies and fleshed out, and there you have a trilogy.
Yeah.
With a couple of tweaks here and there. One tweak you need to do, and I agree with Fan Man on this. I've never really said much about it, but I've always agreed with it. They handled Luke terribly. There's no way he should have been this grumpy old guy who was going to kill his nephew. That was dumb.
Sounds like they tried to make up for that a little bit in this last movie. The whole, backing off on the throwing away the lightsaber line and whatnot.
Yeah, I just,
I mean, that was that.
they
If
try,
nothing else, that line was a complete rebuke of Ryan Johnson.
yeah, Ryan Johnson just I can appreciate his filmmaking style. I'll say that. I just don't think he was right for doing that for a Star Wars film.
Actually, no, Al. I think you have to qualify that, Alf, because what has he done that
Knives Out
earns
is
him that
getting
with you?
Knives Out is getting incredible reviews.
Have you seen Knives Out?
No, I haven't.
Then you're not allowed to have an opinion based on your own assessment. You've already said that about Star Wars, but you can't renege on that for Knives Out.
Troy, let me talk.
You've been talking this whole time.
No, but I'm trying to answer. You're like accusing me of all this stuff, and I'm like, if you hold on a second, I'll let you know.
Let me get my accusation out before you respond to it. Go ahead.
I have seen some of his previous stuff that he's done.
Looper, that sucked.
Hold on. Let me look this asshole up and
The
see what he's
fact that you
done.
have to look them up though means there's nothing
I've
that's
seen
really standing out in your mind to
no, but
support
no,
your argument.
I saw something in something he was involved, a couple things he was involved in that I actually kind of enjoyed. I just can't remember what it was uh, offhand. Let me see. What was it? It was something. Some. Um, Let me see. I think it was. Was it Brick? I think it was Brick.
I don't even know what that is.
Yeah, it's it was like
But but that
his first,
is
but it was kind of cool.
that
But
in
I'm
and of
just
itself
but
says something. The
but
whole
I'm just
idea
saying.
that oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just saying he was the wrong pick.
Oh yeah.
He he just wasn't there. Now he does have he wouldn't have been given that opportunity if he had someone hadn't seen promise in the man. That's what I'm trying to say.
I get what you're saying, but it was somebody who
He had
had absolutely no vision herself,
right.
who
Yeah, well, yeah,
never
Kathleen
had any
Kennedy needs to
business being
go
in the
away.
position she's in.
Kathleen Kennedy needs to go away. And
Absolutely.
and but I am saying, yeah, Ryan Johnson may be a decent filmmaker. Some of the stuff he's done has gotten laudable critique. I'll say that. Like I said, I think I saw the one thing that was okay, and so I know he's got directorial chops. He just doesn't have the mindset to do a Star Wars film, and that was the problem. He was trying to do some kind of the old throwaway line, not a throwaway line, but the old line a lot of people say, I want to subvert expectations.
Yeah.
I want to get creative.
And what's interesting about that, I
I
want
have a vision.
I want to say something about the whole subversion of expectations. We've talked about this a lot. I mean, and not
Yeah.
just us. I mean, so many YouTubers have been talking about this. And what gets me about that is there is a good way to subvert expectations, and then there is subverting expectations just to subvert expectations. And one way is good filmmaking, and the other way
Mm-hmm.
is grade school BS. And that's what I see
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Johnson doing. He wants to subvert expectations because he thinks it makes him some sort of auteur. And what it actually does is
Right.
make him look like an idiot. You know, I mean,
To the fans of the genre.
well,
Like I
not
said,
even.
someone here,
I have heard critical commentary by people who are just talking, who aren't even fans, who are just talking about basic filmmaking, and they're going,
mm-hmm.
no, there is a structure to filmmaking that you have to have on first. You have to, basically get the basics down before you start trying to do cool and kitschy and new and intuitive stuff. And Ryan Johnson hasn't gotten the basics down yet. I mean, that's literally what people in the industry are saying about him. People who teach film theory are literally using episode 4 as an example of really good filmmaking, and The Last Jedi as an example of what not to do
Oh
in
yeah.
film in film classes. You know what I'm saying?
You mean visual or
I mean storytelling,
storytelling? Oh yes,
basic storytelling.
yeah.
And
Oh no,
that's
yeah,
a
yeah.
huge
That's the problem. That's
problem.
the problem. He didn't have the right storyline. He created the storyline without anybody who knew what Star Trek was about to look over her shoulder, and Kathleen Kennedy was like, I think I'll go to Acapulco or something. She's God knows doing what, not paying attention. And he did a film that everybody thought destroyed Star Wars. I'm not saying it. I don't think it destroyed Star Wars. It's just it was a weak film in the trilogy. I still think there was some good stuff in it, but when you take Force Awakens and Last Jedi, it's like one of these things is not like the other, and that's the problem.
Yeah.
They should have had what they should have had JJ do all three, or JJ at least oversee all three, like George did with 4, 5, and 6, and 1, 2, and 3. They needed that guiding visionary, the guy who had the story, knew where it led, knew all the roads, all the side, all the off ramps and everything. Had it all set to begin with. They started Force Awakens with the Force Awakens.
Yeah,
that's all they had planned. They didn't have anything else done. Now they might have had a couple other guys like what Colin Trevorrow and those two brother guys or something involved, and then they got like either pushed off or left or something because there was no
yeah
one solitary voice guiding this thing.
I want to call out somebody in the chat here.
Sure.
Listener AL makes a point that I want to applaud. They should have followed Lucas's plan. So Al, while you have seen the last the Rise of Skywalker, thank you. Yeah. I have been doing a lot of watching the behind the scenes, the Midnight Edge stuff, and so forth. And what AL says is excellent. The way they have marginalized Lucas and basically ignored the architect of this whole thing is ridiculously stupid. I mean, if anybody had a vision for the story from beginning to end, it was Lucas. To receive his treatment, his outline for the last 3 movies and completely ignore them, that right there was their first misstep. Then to bring him in after Rian Johnson got them so off track and said, "Can you help us?" And then to again ignore everything he said. Disney deserves everything they get at this point.
Yeah, Disney has made very poor decisions when it comes to the trilogy. Now, like I said, they've done some other things that have been damn good. I'm not gonna, Rogue One, excellent. Solo, a hell of a lot better than people give it credit for. Not great, but a fun popcorn movie, a good adventure, a good sci-fi film. And like I said, I stand by Force Awakens is a really good movie to start kind of getting those feels back. It felt like Star Wars because they basically just kind of fit the Star Wars outline with other stuff. And, I think that was all right with me. I was all right with it. I give a lot of leeway towards that. And I enjoyed Force Awakens. I still enjoy Force Awakens. I don't think this trilogy is going to age well. I say in 10 years, it's going to be just, now, like I said, I don't know where 10 years from now, I don't know what is going to be, what Star Wars is going to look like. Whoever's hands.
Yeah, that's what many commentators have been saying. They've been saying that the original trilogy is so iconic and so much a part of modern myth, not to mention it draws on archetypes that are universal, that Luke Skywalker, Han Solo, and Princess Leia will be remembered forever. But the next generation will not even remember who Rey, Poe, and the other guy are. They just won't.
Especially Finn. Poor Finn.
Finn.
Yeah, but like I said, in Force Awakens, Finn's set up to be a pretty cool character. And then afterwards, he's just nothing.
Well, and they're supposed to have story crap.
And yeah, exactly.
Look at what they did with the 3 main characters. Look what they did with the 3 main characters in Star Wars. Luke, Han, and Leia were together through that. Once they came together, they were together. They adventured together. They developed as characters together. Even well into Empire Strikes Back, they did. And then Luke goes off on his own. Okay. But they come together at the end, and then they got to go save Han. It was always, you want to see them together. You want to see them together. There has been very little of the new characters developing together because they didn't develop together. They didn't develop on their own either. Part of the narrative requires interplay in order to develop the individual.
Yeah, the only friendships that make sense through the end from an on-screen standpoint, from what we've been able to witness. Not saying like in the in-between time, like the 1 year between the movies kind of thing, is Finn and Poe. I can see they're close. I can see Finn and Rey being close.
Sure.
I don't even know if Rey knows what Poe would look like. I mean, in general, because you don't really see them interact that much. But
I see
at
better
the end of Rise of Skywalker, they're written like these are lifelong friends and we're together forever and we're the three that I love you guys, that kind of thing. And it just, nothing we've seen on screen dictates that relationship.
I see more development in the relationships of the characters in Rogue One in one movie than I do in these characters in 3.
Yeah. Rogue One is an incredible film. I'll fight you. I'll fight anybody on that one. But yeah, and like I said, Rise of Skywalker though, I'd like to say I don't want to go on all night with this. How did I get Merry Christmas? Must have highlighted something by mistake. But
yeah, I was kind of wondering why you had it up there this whole time. It was
because I don't know.
I figured, well, doing. Merry Christmas. Why not?
Because I don't know what I'm doing.
That's fair. I wouldn't have even known how to do that.
And I stay on. I do the chat through YouTube.
Oh, gotcha. Well, actually, I do too. Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, I'll say this: having seen Rise of Skywalker, I enjoyed it. It was good. The good stuff here. Let me talk about what was good. Seeing Lando again. I mean, even for 5 minutes, he was Lando. He was back. There was none of this like pansexual crap. None of that. He was simply Lando, former general. Still kind of out there for the Empire, but not really in the fight anymore. He's an older man, but he comes through at the end. The special effects, incredible. Especially the space battle. They threw so many ships at me. If you liked the ship chaos at the end of Return of the Jedi, you'll love this one because there's a lot of ships flying in the sky, and I get some great shots of my beloved Y-wing. That Y-wing look. There was a Y-wing shot that just, oh yeah, take out that ship, baby. There was a moment which I will hold up as to one of the top 5 moments in Star Wars ever, and it's at the end of the film. Leia has passed on to the Force after having used all of her energy to save her son, and Chewie is sitting there, and Maz Kanata, whatever her name is, comes up and hands Chewie Han's medal. And basically, Chewie finally got his medal after all these 42 years. He finally got a medal, but he's just sitting there, and he's just. I mean, credit to Jonas Suotomo or what Suotomo.
I would not even try to pronounce his last name. I don't know.
Yeah, but he got to know Peter Mayhew really well.
Yes, he did.
they bond, and he has Jonas is of all the new people
Stepping into
associated
roles.
with it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He has the utmost respect for the character
I've
and
gotten
what
that.
it's
Yeah.
going for.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, give the man
Oh,
his,
absolutely.
his credit there. But he really did a great job emoting there, and also the moment when he finds out that Leia has passed.
Yeah.
Just that, it's Chewie losing
Yeah.
another loved one,
Which I
and it's
think kind of
brutal.
speaks to
Brutal.
where all of the fans are too. I
Yeah,
mean, it really is. And but see, that doesn't really help it either.
no.
It is JJ and probably no one else at Disney. It's JJ acknowledging, I understand
Mhm.
how you all feel.
Yeah.
And I just see so much of him. I mean, like I said, the whole lightsaber line, trying to acknowledge and trying to apologize to the fans. There was actually a great video that I saw by the Anti-Trekker that wasn't exactly defending the Rise of Skywalker, but kind of trying to temper the very harsh fandom menace stance on the film.
Yeah.
And while I do understand what he was saying, at the same time, he needs to understand, and I would probably encourage you the same way. You've got to understand that for all the good things you might say about this movie, it's way too little, way too late.
Oh
Because
yeah,
this
but
no, wait, let me finish.
oh, okay, okay.
Okay,
I thought you
because
were. I thought you
you've
were
said a lot here. Let me get this out. Um, Star Wars is so huge. It has been for so many years for so many people, and to be treated this way, for the fans to be treated this way, and I don't just mean by a couple bad movies. I mean directly being called man babies and ists of every kind, and basically told this isn't Star Wars for you anymore. Move along, kill the past. Okay. You don't really ever come back from that.
Mhm.
Even with all the member berries and the apologies, that's fine. JJ, we understand that you understand us, but you can't make up for this. You can't make up for Ruin Johnson. You
The
can't
rise.
make up for Kathleen Kennedy, and you can't make up for Bob Iger. You just can't. Star Wars was really ruined. And I don't mean it like it can't ever recover and we can't enjoy The
Right.
Mandalorian and we can't still enjoy the expanded universe in our own ways or whatever. I'm just saying this was tantamount to sacrilege of a modern myth. And you don't really come back from that, no matter what little member berries they give us.
Yeah. But um, like I was saying, I'll always acknowledge. Like I said, the new trilogy has lots of problems. Like you said, lots of things, and it doesn't help when the people behind the scene, the people in charge, kind of piss all over you,
Yeah.
because you had a problem. You don't like it, zip, and then start, just unloading on you. That, I mean, that is hard to erase. Yes. Ryan Johnson needs, I'm not going to say it because I'll be inciting violence.
Right.
Uh, but people like that need to be called out
Yes.
for the hate, for almost psychological abuse of a fan. Now, I'm not going to say what he did in the film.
Right.
I know a lot of people will say, "Well, that was psychological abuse too." No, I'm saying what he says in interviews, putting down the fans, um, and all that kind of stuff.
I
That
agree
is uncalled for.
100%. In fact, I would go so far as to say that I can forgive anything he does in the movie as long as it's what he does in the movie and then he shuts his trap outside of the movie. You let your work
Exactly.
speak for itself.
Right.
Otherwise, you are not worth your salt as an artist.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
I can respect, even if I don't like what you do, I can respect it if you just say, you know what? I did it and it stands on its own. And if you liked it, great. If you don't, I understand. You
Right.
know,
Exactly.
I look at artists like David Lynch, who refuses to comment on, I mean, to any real extent on what he does. And it's like, if you like it, great. If you don't like it, great. But I'm not going to explain it. And when
That's
someone,
and that's.
you know,
Oh, sorry.
no, yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, just like any artist, any painting, you paint it, you put it on a wall. Some people will like it, some people will not. It doesn't matter. If you can't really say if it's bad or good, because it depends on the perspective. But you as an artist, like, if you don't understand my work, then you are a puny little
Yeah.
man baby who doesn't understand the art, the great art of mankind. That's idiotic and
And
stupid. No.
that falls very flat because it does come down to the storytelling too. I mean, anyone who knows anything about storytelling will tell you that it's got to be shown, not told. Don't give it to me in exposition, show it to me. Pictures are worth 1,000 words, and a moving picture is worth 1,000,000. you know
Hmm.
don't spend a bunch of time with a bunch of exposition when you can show me something in the story. A look in somebody's face conveys so much more than explaining how they feel, you know?
Right.
And by the same token, if you didn't put it in that 2-hour movie, then I don't want to hear your commentary on it in interviews later on and your tweets online.
It's just like Avengers. If there's like an hour of Avengers that they've accounted for because they didn't have time to put it in the thing and they've had to explain it.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, for
exactly.
God's sake, come on.
And that's why that is one of the more positive negatives, if you'll
Yeah.
excuse me, that I've heard said about this last movie is that, you know what, if they'd have just split it into two movies,
Yep.
it would have been probably so much better, you know?
Yeah. There's some good. There are some good stuff. Like I said, I think the Return of Palpatine could have been intriguing. A lot of people said it kind of that it lessens Anakin's sacrifice. I don't think so. I think Anakin's sacrifice saved his son. If anything, he saved Luke's life. Now, of course, I'm not going to say the new trilogy. Of course, Last Jedi. Let's just agree, Last Jedi story wise sucked.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'm
like I
with
said,
you so far. What's the
good
next thing you're
visuals.
going to say?
Hey, I've come a long way to admit that, haven't I? Don't you think? I think the professor would be very happy
Well, and here's what I would
because I.
say about that. And this is something that I said about The Force Awakens too. You can have your opinion about a movie, but that is augmented by the next movie. Okay.
Mhm.
So when I saw The Force Awakens, and I think a lot of fans felt the same way, we were like, okay, not
Yeah,
bad. Let's see where this goes. And had the next movie been really, really awesome, we would have seen the first movie in a much more positive light. I think a
exactly.
lot of people saw The Last Jedi and then saw the previous movie in a more negative light. And
Right.
added, and because the next movie really does change the tone of the previous movie. It has a reflection on the previous movie. This
Mhm.
movie is doing the same thing. It is trying to lighten The Last Jedi, but in so doing, it has repercussions on all the movies that went before it. So, what you're talking about with the story arc of Anakin Skywalker, it does change the story arc of Anakin Skywalker. When you
Mhm.
look at Anakin Skywalker from the prequels, and from the original trilogy, you had a story arc of he was the chosen one who brought balance to the Force.
Mhm.
That was the absolute truth at the end of Return of the Jedi. However, they decided to rewrite that with the sequel trilogy. And now Rey is the chosen one. And that is, first, it's a
A-
cheat.
ac- Actually, if you want to know the truth, it's kind of been hinted that Ray and Ben
Okay,
both as the
that's fine.
duality
That's
have
fine.
what?
But my point is still the same. It's these characters that were added in the last 3 acts that nobody actually has ever cared about, that didn't get the character development.
Mm-hmm.
And so there is no payoff to that. Whereas
Right.
Anakin Skywalker was the character who has followed through, even in death, into these movies. If it's not his story, then you've pretty much effed up a 9-movie arc. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh no, I get what you're saying, but like I said, I'm just pulling little points. I'm
Yeah,
trying
I
not.
get what you're
I'm not
saying.
trying to do the over. I'm not trying to look from ep 1 to ep 9. I'm just trying to pick out little things at ep 9 right now. That I like. Some things that work. See, 3PO lost his memory. Cool idea. Because it looked like it was fun, him going around not recognizing anybody. He's
That
like,
was
"Oh, hi, I'm C-3PO to R2."
everything I heard about that was, oh great, they're killing off another character. I'm sitting here going, so he's getting his memory wiped. It got wiped at the end of episode 3. Obviously, this is something that's
Right.
happened to 3PO, over and over again. I mean,
Yeah, but
you
he
know,
did, but he does get it back because R2 had a backup.
see, and that, as much as I part of me wants
I
to
know.
look at that narratively and say, well, that's a cop out. At the same time, we're talking about droids, so that makes
Right.
perfect freaking sense. R2 saw 3PO lose his memory at the end of episode 3. If he didn't know to make a backup, or someone didn't know to make a backup of him at some point, then duh, you know?
Yeah.
So that actually is, in my mind, a little bit. I'll give a little bit of kudos to JJ or
Yeah.
whoever the writer was. JJ the writer of this?
I
I think it was written by
uh,
committee, but whoever came up with that particular point, I'll give some kudos to.
ultimately committee probably.
Yeah.
Let me see here.
I got the impression that JJ had originally written the thing, and then Iger hit the roof because he said, well, not everyone's going to be pleased with this, which to all
Story.
reality, I
Yeah.
have said this up and down. Okay. Iger said everyone has to be pleased by this. And you know what they say about trying to please everyone? When you try to please everybody, you end up pleasing no one.
Yeah.
And that's
Story.
exactly what JJ tried to tell him. And he goes, no, everyone must be pleased. Well, guess what? They decided to go by committee. They tried to please everybody. And I don't think anyone's really, truly pleased with it.
Yeah, the story by Derek Connolly, Colin Trevorrow, J.J. Abrams, and Chris Terrio, with
By
screenplay
committee. Exactly.
by Terrio and Abrams.
Right. So in other words, they're giving credit to everybody who touched the damn thing. Yeah, it's
Yeah, pretty much.
ridiculous. It's
Yeah,
I,
but
I mean, too many clicks.
yeah, then there's the one thing when when R2 wants to give C-3PO his memory back, and C-3PO is like, "You want to stick your what in my what?" It was just funny. I'm sorry. There's little moments in like that where it made me laugh. It made me, I was like, okay, yeah, I dig that. That was kind of funny,
And
and
you can't ever take any of this completely out of context because you still have the fans that are reeling over Kathleen Kennedy's completely stupid comment about, well, there are no comics or movies for us to adapt. And everyone's going, the fuck you say?
yeah,
That is bull.
yeah.
Because we all know not only
And in
is,
fact,
is
we're
there
going to
stuff
be
that they jettisoned that we loved, but they're pulling elements from Dark Empire and the Thrawn trilogy for this movie. When you have a bunch of Star Destroyers that have Death Star beams on them, that's right out of Dark Empire. The Cloned Empire, again, right out of Dark Empire. And yet, what's even worse about that is that the freaking comic books did those stories better,
Mhm.
you know? But
Yeah, there
heaven
were
forbid we give credit where credit is due. We're
um,
Disney. We don't do that.
but while on that, you did hear the news about the Thrawn trilogy and Professor Geek, right?
I did. Yes. Why don't you share with the rest of the group that may not have been listening to the last stream?
Starting after the new year, in 2 Mondays, this Monday is the next 3 chapters of The Hobbit, and then the weekend after that, I think he wants to finish up The Hobbit.
Yep.
And then the Thursday after that, I'm not sure what day it is. I want to say the 7th or 8th. That Thursday, but it could change. Let's just say, if you're a fan of the Thrawn trilogy, on Professor Geek's channel, we will start
So
a book
the
study
Thursday is
of
the 9th. The 8th is my
Heir to
birthday.
the Empire. Yeah, The Heir to the Empire is the first book, and we're gonna be reading it and talking about it
I
on the
don't think
Professor
Nanette
channel for
has read that book, so I'm going to see if I
much of the
can't
year.
get her to read it.
Or he has gifted me the
The audio.
the audio of it. So, and shockingly, I had not without actually knowing it. This is my life and how long it's been since I've been able to get to stuff that's been packed away. I have those 3 books in hardcover
Me too.
just around, and I'm like, I didn't even know I had it until I went through it. I also have the Jedi Academy trilogy.
I have those as well. Yep.
Something. Who wrote those? I forget. Somebody else wrote them.
A big Star Trek writer, KC something or K.
Why is Ferguson coming in?
He's got initials. I don't remember.
Yeah, I forget. But yeah, so right after the new year, we're going to be doing that on the Professor Geek channel. So, yeah, that's going to be a lot of fun. So, if you don't like the last trilogy, we're going to get what many fans feel is the
Kevin J. Anderson.
Kevin J. That was it. Kevin J. Anderson.
I knew it was a Star Trek writer.
I knew Ferguson. I had the son.
Yeah.
There. I knew it was something like that. But yeah, so that's going to be interesting. So I'm going to be reading along so I can finally know what everybody's talking about.
Have you never read the
I have never read the Thrawn. I have never read anything in the only books outside of the original Star Wars films was Splinter of the Mind's Eye.
Yeah.
I love that book.
Right?
Love that book. I wish
that was Empire until Empire came along.
Yeah, it was the story treatment if they didn't make money on Star Wars.
Right.
And but we never got it. And then unfortunately they made them brother and sister, where I actually was into the romance of Luke and Leia. I know it's kind of oogie now, but it happens. But let me see. Let me see what some people are saying in here. I haven't been dropping bombs right there. You really are mad. What's that? To Troy? Yeah. See, Big Al. That the foreheads are in bloom.
Well, obviously, I mean, I have never made it a secret that I feel incredibly passionate about Star Wars. I mean, Star Wars is, the cornerstone of my geekdom, and the cornerstone and geekdom is really a core element of who I am. I mean, I could tell you guys all a story about how I met Nanette. Nanette and I never would have met if it hadn't been for Trek conventions and geekdom and whatnot. So I mean,
well, see, Star Trek is my cornerstone, but Star Wars is my load-bearing wall.
I told that. So Nanette and I met at a Trek convention. Both of us really into a Trek, role-playing group. But I did warn her. I said, "But Star Wars is my first love." Because I was into Star Wars before I was into Star Trek.
But she decided to cling on to you anyway.
Yes. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. And we kind of converted from the Federation to the Empire together. Yeah. Yeah, we definitely did.
Yeah. So yeah, if you're a fan or you haven't read it, or if you want to read it again, or if you just want to listen, right after the new year, about a week after the new year starts, it's going to be it's going to be the Thrawn trilogy.
I'm so glad you guys decided to go with Thursday, because I heard you guys talking about it back and forth, and it wasn't live because I was hearing a later rebroadcast of it, and I was like, oh God, no, please, not Wednesday, because I have a standing D&D game, and while you refuse to record shows, I can't record my D&D game because that's 3 guys coming over to my house.
Yeah, well, I can't record shows. That's a different thing.
I could hook you up, my friend. You tell me what
Well,
shows you need, and I can hook you up if you need.
I'm well, let's just say I need a lot of things to get figured out before I start worrying about what's hooked up anymore.
Yeah.
But that's another story. But yeah, I think it's Thursday night at 11 because I have a show at 10. So, so
Okay. So I'm being called out in the chat. Okay, it's not technically a D&D game. Technically, we're using Pathfinder rules, but not everybody knows what Pathfinder is. It's just
well,
you know,
saying you have a D&D game is
yeah.
like saying you're wearing a Band-Aid, even though it may
Yes,
just
exactly. That's a good point. That's an excellent point. Right.
yeah, you're in or that you're in a jacuzzi. That everybody's so used to the brand names that they use that for everything. Like I never knew that a Band-Aid was technically just an adhesive bandage.
Yeah.
Because
Exactly.
Band-Aid's a brand name.
Or FedEx as opposed to express delivery service or something like that.
Yeah. You're gonna FedEx it.
Xerox as opposed to a photocopier. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, so yeah, like I said, just final thoughts on Rise of Skywalker. It's not a terrible movie. It's not a great movie, but it's got its moments. If you're hesitant to watch it and you don't want to give Disney their money, wait till you're able to watch it for nothing. Give it a shot. Just kind of see how it ends. There are some decent moments in it, some fun. There's some fun stuff, some good action, and like I said, Harrison Ford pops back in for a scene that I'm sure was meant to be a Carrie Fisher scene, but unfortunately she couldn't do it. It does give you a chance to kind of say goodbye to Carrie. They do blend her in quite well. I believe. I think a lot of people think it's ghoulish. I think if they had used her any more than they did, it might have been a little squeamy, but I think they used her just enough for us to say goodbye.
Yeah. I would temper everything that Al just said with the fact that this is somebody who has not read the Thrawn trilogy. Most of us have, so by comparison, but in fairness, and see, this is also tempered by the fact that I know that when I say, well, you got to read this or you got to watch that or whatever, that's not fair, because people that have already done that, they've associated certain memories with it and so on and so forth. So just sharing it with someone brand new doesn't necessarily have the same impact. But you do have to understand that a lot of people that love the expanded universe, starting with the Thrawn trilogy, always saw that, and I think the professor has said this too. This was the sequel trilogy that we thought we would never get. So we had already accepted that as the sequel trilogy. To have that so beloved and then jettisoned and then given this cheap, McDonald's cheeseburger, as opposed to the filet mignon we had enjoyed, is kind of an insult, And actually, that was very nice of me. I could have said something about poop and ice cream, but I didn't do that.
Yeah, well, like I said, you use cheeseburger, and a cheeseburger, they're not a fillet, could still be enjoyed with some fries and a Coke, and you can be quite pleased depending on when you enjoy it. Like
The Force Awakens was a good cheeseburger. Okay, the Last Jedi, that burger was no longer, it was past its prime and it didn't taste right.
I will say The Force Awakens,
and it gave me the squirts.
I say The Force Awakens is a good quarter pounder with cheese. I think The Last Jedi is
Laced with salmonella. Yes, absolutely.
no,
I
no,
got
no,
the squirts
I'm
from
trying to
that
think
one.
of I'm
Yep.
trying to think of an actual menu item. It's the 4 pack of chicken nuggets. You're like, why the hell are you only getting 4 chicken nuggets? Uh,
You
but you
know,
like
and
it.
I will say this about
You'll
the
enjoy the chicken nuggets, but you really wanted a lot more.
I will say this about the Thrawn trilogy, especially in reaction to some of the things that Skipper Kenner has been saying. Um, the Thrawn trilogy isn't perfect from a cinematic point of view. Okay. Obviously, when you go into it, you want to think of it in terms of the movies, but you also have to remember it's written as a book. It is a book. There are things about it that would not translate very well into the movies. And in fact, if they ever were to take those books, which now we'll never see, but if they were to take those books and turn them into movies, there's some editing that would have to happen. Some elements of it that just don't need to be there. It's not
I say do
perfect.
I I
Hmm?
say do it. I'd say do animated. If Disney
It's
had half the sense,
it's funny you
option
say
it
that.
and animate it.
It's funny you say that because there is, and I was waiting until we actually start doing the book reads. I was gonna, when I'm in the peanut gallery and sharing, I was gonna share a link. There is a YouTuber who is doing their own fan animation of the Thrawn, well, Heir to the Empire. Um,
Yeah, cool.
he's only a couple episodes in, or I guess that would be a couple chapters in, and it's pretty good so far. I mean, it looks interesting.
Corvette Rocks Force Awakens was Burger King. Last Jedi was a rat burger. No,
Yeah,
Last Jedi, like I said, was the small chicken nuggets. You really want more. Why do you order the small chicken nuggets? I mean, for God's sake, that's for children. Uh,
yeah,
but you like the chicken. I like the chicken I got, but I wanted a hell of a lot more, and I want more even now after seeing uh, Rise of Skywalker. Rise of Skywalker is um, a chicken sandwich with a small fry. Inexpensive, not the greatest thing, but you know what? Kind of, I like it. I liked it. Could use some more. Could use some more stuff. Could it goes down pretty quick. That's weird. I know. You gotta know. You gotta know how I think about food to really get the those analogies. But yeah, that's enough about Rise of Skywalker. Oh, money wise, now of course not making nearly as much as a Star Wars film should, but not tanking yet. I think this coming weekend and the weekend following is going to be the true test. Um, so I think if they hit 1 billion, they'll be all right. But
I'd
it's a long way to
I'd be
go.
willing to make a wager that they're not going to make it to 1 billion,
Well,
and that's
they're
pretty
almost there.
sad to say for a Star Wars movie at this point.
Yeah, yeah. But it is. But until then, we'll have to wait to see what they do for another trilogy. If they're smart, they'll wait before they even attempt another trilogy. I say, like I said, they got Mandalorian, which is fantastic.
So they're
And they've
coming
got
close to the end of the season, aren't they?
the end of the season is Friday, is the final episode.
So I had said I was waiting until then. So let me wait and see what the
Yeah,
reactions are to that last episode.
yeah.
And,
The last episode is going to be something.
and as
I'm
long
going
as
to
they
wonder
don't
how they're
screw
going
the
to.
pooch with the last episode, I may then just binge the thing.
Yeah, it's a good binge show because it's only like each episode's only like 30 to 40 minutes. They're not long episodes, so it's a good binge. It's a good quick binge.
I absolutely need them to put out the 3 3/4 inch action figure of the Mandalorian because I need that sidearm to do my holiday special custom action figure.
Custom Boba Fett.
Yep, yep.
Yeah,
I don't know if I know I've shown you or you've seen videos or whatever. I've done the how do you call it, I got the figure and I'm starting to do the I don't know, whatever the dinosaur is that he rides in the holiday special, but I just need the sidearm,
hmm
you know. But
yeah.
By
That'll be
I'll have those figures done, and I'll have a good video up so that I can kind of show what I've done with them.
very,
Kind of
very,
excited about my
and
custom figures.
sometime in the new year, I may splurge and buy myself a little baby Yoda doll, so
Of
I can
course you
cuddle,
will.
so I can cuddle him and kiss him and just like, oh, baby Yoda, you're so cute. I'm just wondering if they're ever going to give the kid a name, because of. Because you get those some people like he's not Yoda. Stop calling him Yoda. It's
Yeah.
like
Well, what else are you
it's
going to call them? It's
it's what we are calling him until
yeah,
you just say the child. It kind of sounds stupid,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Baby Yoda's just kind of taking
I
on a
say
life.
that they should name him George, and then you can love him and hug him.
You know, he'll be kissing and yeah. Wonder how many people remember what that's from.
Right? Exactly.
God,
It's
I mean, I
it,
know most
you have to
people
not only
will
know of Mice and Men, but you also have to know
like
the
Bugs
Bugs
Bunny.
Bunny, parodies of it as well.
Yeah, yeah. But okay. Anyway, on to the next subject. Tomorrow is it still tomorrow? Yes, tomorrow
Tomorrow is Christmas. Yes, it
is
is.
Christmas. It's Christmas. Um,
It's still an hour away
Christmas
for you. It's
tradition.
2 hours away for me.
Yes, and Santa is heading towards Ottawa, Ontario. Wow, looks like he's already been by here. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Like I said, this late night, he's a fast bugger, and there's no kids here, so I'm sure he didn't stop here. But yeah, currently he's heading for Ottawa, Ontario, Canada in 1 minute. So heads up, he just left Montreal, according to this. So wow, there's no Muhammad here, but Muhammad, probably got his present by now.
Possibly. Well, if he was good, otherwise he got,
Yeah,
twigs and coal.
Cole. And I would model up a Cole. I think it's pretty cool. Uh,
It's bad for the
so
environment.
tomorrow, what?
I'm just joking. I don't care.
Well, not unless you burn it. Just the coal by itself.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Coal
Yeah,
by itself is just a dinosaur plant matter that used to be.
there you go.
But Christmas, just you and Nanette, what you got going on Christmas Day? Any special traditions or?
Well, yeah, we're kind of breaking with tradition this year. First, the illness. We've been just,
Yeah,
I'm even starting to get stuffed
always.
up again because as I sober up, I start to get more congested again. But then that's been hit even harder than I have. So we haven't been able to
Poor
do half the stuff that we wanted to do. But so tonight, I did keep the tradition alive. I made the fish, the multiple fishes. I didn't do 7 fishes because it's just the 2 of us. But I
Right.
made several fish dishes and the spaghetti olio aglio, which has just
Ooh.
always been a tradition, in my family, and Nanette's come to love it too. And then
Yeah.
tomorrow, we'll open the presents that we got for each other. Most of them, I think we both know what they are. I don't think there's any big surprises there. We haven't gone out of our way. In fact, there's one thing that she got me that it's just I'm fired up about, but I know it came and it's just under the tree, just with a piece of paper draped over it, because I'm just kind of looking forward to, the Christmas of it, because it's a Star Wars toy. But then in the
Ooh.
oh yeah, I made her breakfast this morning too, and I made what I consider to be the ultimate Christmas French toast. It was cinnamon swirl bread, in an egg and eggnog batter, with real maple syrup and whipped cream, and Nanette seemed to like it. So that was
Very
breakfast.
nice.
That was breakfast this morning. Tomorrow, of course, it's for whatever reason, it's just become a tradition with us. Cinnamon rolls for breakfast, and then in the evening we'll have a ham and ravioli.
Ooh, very
That's
nice. Wow,
Yep.
man, nice at your house.
It's just
Uh,
tradition with us.
for me, a long time ago, my mother used to on Christmas Eve used to make lasagna homemade.
Oh yeah.
Of course, it's just a little hard, a little hard to do. Tonight we just had some leftover ham, but tomorrow morning for breakfast, the traditional Sievertson breakfast for Christmas is holiday French toast, which is dried cranberries and apples and brown sugar and cinnamon and covered with French bread and then an egg mixture with good yummy stuff. All the good yummy stuff, vanilla and stuff poured over it. It sits overnight, and then in the morning you bake it for about 45 minutes with fig on, and then about 5 with it off to crisp it up and have a little that with a little bit of bacon. I can't wait. it's it's what we have every Christmas morning, and it is just yummy, 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 yummy. And tomorrow night we are lucky someone always gives us money to get ourselves the smallest little prime rib we can find. And so we're gonna have a little bit of prime rib, a little bit of not quite sure. I don't know if she got asparagus or not, but usually we have asparagus and uh, scalloped potatoes. So that's Christmas, food wise at our house. Lunch is just whatever. You all right?
That's Nanette.
Hello?
Yeah, that's Nanette coughing. Yeah.
I thought I might have lost you and being
No,
coughing off.
nope. I'm just listening, but no, that was Nanette coughing. She's
Yeah.
been hit pretty hard by this. I feel really
Poor
bad
thing.
for her. I'm not great either, but
Well, I would hope so. You're her husband, for God's sake. I would hope you don't want to see her it all sick like that.
it's just hard
But
because there's really nothing you could do. It's like
yeah, I know. But yeah, I used to have a lot of traditions I used to get to, but I do want to share something. I don't know if you saw it on my. I think I know Nanette saw it, and I had posted it on my Facebook today. Someone somewhere in the mists of time, I don't know how they found it, where they found it, but a long time ago they used to print letters to Santa in
yeah,
like the newspaper and stuff. And a friend of mine found this and sent it to me. Uh, and I'm going to read you this letter and just have you all listen. Dear Santa Claus, I'm only 3.5 years old, so my mommy is writing this letter for me. I would like a gas pump, a talking book, and a tricky doodly duck, and anything else that you can spare. Merry Christmas and love to you, Alan Sievertson Jr., Charlotte Hall, Maryland.
wow.
I had to look up tricky. It's
I
actually
was just gonna ask what that was.
tricky doodle duck. I looked him up, and I was like, oh my god, it's just like a weird little duck. He actually has feather wings. His wings are actually made of feathers. It was like a Remco toy from the '60s. But
Remco, yeah.
but she found this, and I swear to God, that just I tried to remember, but I like half remember, but I don't remember Tricky Doodly Duck or Tricky Doodle Duck. Because I guess I call it Tricky Doodly Duck. And but I just like even then, and anything else you can spare. So I was looking for whatever I could get. And that's where I used to live, Charlotte Hall, Maryland.
So what would you say your best and I mean let's narrow it down to toys. What is the best toy that you ever got for Christmas?
Oh wow. I always think, and I have very limited memories of it, but I have a picture of it, and I'd still love to have one today. It is and I believe it's a Remco toy, Rudy the robot. And
Rudy the robot. Okay.
Rudy the robot from Remco.
Okay.
It was a robot that had, he just walked. He was battery operated. And mine had a black body and like red head and arms, whereas I think more of them had a yellow body and like a reddish head, and they had like little stickers for eyes and stuff like that. I've looked on eBay every now and then. Once in a while, I see one of the yellow ones pop up, and I've seen the odd black one that's in horrible condition. But I remember seeing pictures of me sitting there. It's like I would love to have that thing again, just to sit on the shelf. I think it would be kind of cool. But I do remember being having a drum set one morning and instantly having my mother regret that she got me that drum set because I just went, I was just banging the thing for all I was worth. Wow, that sounded weird, but but it's just yeah, Christmas has always been. I've always loved Christmas. I've always come at it with the heart of a child. I try, like I said, it's why at 54 years old, I still track Santa on NORAD.
Yeah,
Because to me, Santa's Santa's out there flying.
I agree.
Of course, being a Catholic, I do know the true reason for the season, and so I definitely I used to love uh, before I wasn't able to anymore. Once I got back into church, I loved going to the midnight mass, uh, but I'm just not able to anymore right now. And my mother was going to go; she just wasn't feeling well, or just just
Do you have
tired.
a local church that broadcasts? Because I know that around here
Well,
there's always a midnight mass that
yeah,
broadcasts.
I'll tune in. TV is one thing, but like
I
I
know.
said, being there with the people it's one
Sure.
thing too.
The
It's
fellowship, I get that.
and you feel it. You feel
Yeah.
the presence of everything, the glory that's going on around you. And I still remember. I love because the church I go to is is off the beaten path, literally off the beaten path, and it's around. It's like hardly any light pollution around. I mean, a little bit, but not as much as a lot of other places. And you come out of there, like 1 in the morning, and it is just it's a spiritual experience looking up at the sky on that cold winter night. It's Christmas, and and if you're lucky enough and Venus is out there, you kind of think like the wise man might have thought. It's like, oh, the Christmas star, even though it's still debatable on what the Christmas star actually was.
Yeah.
It's just it's a glorious experience. But I do always love that. And like you say, Christmas morning, I used to one of some of the weird things I used to do is like once I empty my stocking, I would put my stocking on my foot for 15 minutes just to be funny. And
Yeah.
that was kind of like the last Christmas morning thing I did, because I always did the stocking last, went through, and there was always an orange was the last thing. So when I got the orange, I knew it was empty, and I would take it and I would put it on my foot, and I would just sit there, and it's like Christmas.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is. But yeah, tomorrow, like I said, have breakfast, and for the most part, it's just going to be any other normal day.
Yeah.
Um, and I do know if I need my filling of A Christmas Story, I know it's
Oh
on
yeah.
hourly on
Yep.
two different channels, alternating. Uh, and I know A Christmas Carol with Alistair Sim is on. Actually, it's on tonight. I'm going to watch it after I get off here. So I'll watch the best version of A Christmas Carol, which is the Alistair Sim version, and might watch another version. Might like I said, I'll have to see what's on and enjoy it. I'll just do some normal stuff. I've got a few. I got a gift from Professor Geek that I told him I was holding till Christmas morning. So I'm going to open that, and I got myself something that I already know what it is. So, but I'm still going to wait till tomorrow morning to open it.
Yeah.
It's a Bigfoot documentary that's autographed by the guy who's in it. So
Oh, nice.
yeah, it was a Black Friday special on his Twitter channel. Normally $25. It was on sale for 10, a Blu-ray of. It's called Finding Jay, and he lives in He lives in southern Wisconsin, at the Kettle Moraine wooded area. I don't know if you know that area. It's like in southeastern Wisconsin, which I know you're kind of close to, right?
Yeah, not far.
Yeah. So, but that's where he is, and that's where he hunts paranormal stuff. He started doing UFOs and ghosts, but then they started to find real Squatchy
Yeah,
stuff. So he's kind of switched to the Sasquatch search, and it's a really good documentary. But it's a documentary about him and his experience, as
sure.
opposed to being about Bigfoot and trying to prove Bigfoot. It's about this guy who's I'm just a guy searching for the truth, whatever it may be, and it's just a very interesting 2 hour thing. So I really like it. I've talked to him a couple times on Instagram, and he's a real nice guy. So, but that's one thing I splurged a little bit for myself. Um, I still need to get you guys something. Uh, I will.
Not
Um,
necessary, but that's okay.
you're you're sick. I already know what I'm going to, and I apologize for it not being, for it being in the gift card form, but
No, I
it's fine.
totally get that. In fact,
It's fine.
we're sending out most of our Christmas stuff late too. So
Yeah,
I mean, we were originally supposed to get some stuff mailed out last week, and that didn't happen. Then I got sick, and so it didn't go out this weekend. And I just said, screw it, it's going out after the holiday. There's nothing we can do
yes,
about it at this point.
but I don't know who on here may not already know. I must thank you, Nanette, and the professor for an awesome gift. And that is a cameo. If anyone doesn't know what cameo is, it is you can arrange for a star or a personality or an actor, athlete, whatever, to send a video message to someone. And these three wonderful people got one of my favorite Hallmark actresses to send me a little
Personalized,
video,
yeah, greeting,
personalized,
yeah,
sang my song, the song I always associate with myself, which is, they call me Al.
yeah,
If I can call you Betty, Betty, when you call me, you can call me Al. She sang that. She has declared that she is an Al pal.
yep.
And it is for those who know, it's Alicia Witt, who is on a lot of Hallmark movies. Been a lot of was in Twin Peaks. She played Alia in the David Lynch version of Dune, which was her first acting experience.
Gosh,
I didn't know that.
that was a
She
creepy
was a
role.
little girl, and she is creepy in that, but man, she is just such a beautiful
Yes,
actress, fun, beautiful redhead, and it just I still there's this like little flutter in my stomach that she did that. And I've got it, I've downloaded it. It's mine forever. If you want to see it, it's on my Twitter. I shared it yesterday. So if you want to see it, she's just talking to me, and singing to me, and showed me that she's in Boston and everything. And I know they do it for a lot of people, but she did it for me too. So I'm kind of happy. But yeah, that was a thrill. I was so nervous when I got that message from Michael. It's like, so do you want your present? I could get Troy in the net, and we can stream so you can get it. I'm like, what the hell do I have to get on stream to get a present for? What the hell? I was so nervous. I didn't know what
and
it was.
It was so funny
terrified.
because first in order, because I actually had to work yesterday, and I was coming home, and I had to do the shopping, on the way home, and that's still homesick. And they decided they were going to do this. Let's give them the gift together. So I'm like, okay, well, let me pull into a parking lot, and we can get on StreamYard, and we can do this thing. So we're all, together, virtually, kind of like this, like right now. And Al's like, should I be nervous? My mom's here. And I'm like, no.
I
This is
did.
this is totally fine. Your mom will love this too. This is great. Don't worry
Well,
about it.
I didn't mean that in the way that it was going to be something,
Yeah.
off
Yeah, but you
color.
just had no idea. I know. I
I did
get
know,
it.
and I was like, well, she's here. Is this something that she can hear,
Yeah,
or
that'd be
is
fine.
this something I need to share, or do I want to share it, or And but I shared it, and it was just so funny because you know, like I said, I love my Hallmark Christmas movies and regular Hallmark movies, and she's done both, but she's very heavy in Christmas. She has a new one this year, My Christmas Love Song, which is a nice one. She plays a singer, and of course, she's also an excellent singer.
Yes, she
And
is.
but yeah, just lovely, very personal message, just very nicely done. Didn't feel rushed. Didn't feel like I was that she was doing something just to get it over with.
Yeah.
But just very heartfelt, and yeah, gotta really thank you for that.
I gotta say, of all
Um,
the gifts that I've ever given, they say that it's better to give than receive. This was the best. The of all the gifts I've given, this one felt the most like a gift to me. I enjoyed
right,
giving this gift so much.
yeah,
Obviously we got to see it before you did because it's like, okay, this is what it is before we give it to him. And I'm like, this is so cool. And the fact that she mentioned, us as being the ones giving,
yeah,
it's like, oh, that's so cool. And she really
and
is so sweet.
yeah, she was just so sweet. I mean, she, yeah, she's. Oh, I'm still, like I said, I still got that little butterfly and flutter in my belly just because it was just so cool and just so wonderful. And now when I sign off of here, I'm going to go watch it again on my computer. But,
Yeah, and
but
if you follow him on Facebook, if you follow him on Twitter, go check it out. He's
it,
posted it.
it's
It's really worth checking out because it really is so sweet. And I
sweet.
even said if I wasn't and I am I've been a fan of hers for a long time, but if I wasn't before, I sure as heck am now. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah. I've always, she's always always been there for me as far as a an actress that I admire. So,
Yeah.
try to put that as delicately as possible.
Oh
But
yeah, let's face it, she's hot, no doubt
um,
about it.
but yeah. Also, okay. So outside of I don't know, just the Klingon Christmas Carol. You always talk about that Klingon Christmas Carol.
So it's been of all the places. I mean, Chicago and Minneapolis are the two cities that it's played in the most, just because the guy that started it has lived in these two cities and moved back and forth between them. It didn't play this year, but because I had purchased a DVD of it the first year that it played here in Chicago, I have it so we can still watch it every year if we choose to. I've got a signed hard copy of the script. um yeah, it really is interesting to see a Christmas Carol in and Owen Lister and I were chatting back and forth about it, and he said, well, I don't speak Klingon. You don't have to speak Klingon to understand it. First, uh the story, so even when you don't understand the language, you know what the story is, you know what's happening.
Right.
Secondly, it's just like opera. I mean, you get the gist of it just from the context, but also like opera, like many versions of opera, there is translation. So when you go to see it on stage, they have like the light box above it that gives you the translation. And the very interesting way that it is staged as though it was a production of the um, Vulcan Cultural Society that is doing
Mhm.
a lesson on Klingon culture. And so it is narrated by a representative from the Vulcan Academy. So she starts out in English, setting it up, and then narrating throughout the thing. So that also helps. It's also really very funny because there's a lot of jokes in it, um, especially for Star Trek fans. Um, yeah, and it's also really interesting
Mm.
because if you think about it, it lends itself very well to Klingon culture. Although instead of being miserly, Scrooge is cowardly, and he has not gone through the rite of
Ooh.
ascension because he was a coward. And so, he is going to, when he dies, he's going to go to Grathor because he's dishonored, because he never became a warrior. And
Mm.
yeah, it's really, plus, I mean, just from a Klingon cultural standpoint, it's a huge touchstone. There's nothing canonical about it, but it has become very much part of fanon in that the holiday referenced in it, Ram Nite, the Feast of the Long Night, um, doesn't exist in canon, but it's basically for the fans, it's the Klingon version of Christmas, and it makes perfect sense. I mean, what you may not have the same religions, you may not have the same cultural development, but what things would an alien race have that would be similar, assuming they have a similar planetary makeup with similar seasons? They probably have a winter season, and they probably have a solstice, and that's very archetypal. That long night with, you can't farm, it's harder to find food, so you all come together as a community to share your foods. This is, you know basically the whole solstice concept, the
Right.
Yule and so forth. You could really dig into the social science of that, but yeah, obviously that's something that I've actually done a very scholarly paper in the Klingon groups that I eventually want to turn into a YouTube video. It's actually something I plan to do for in 2020 on the Klingon Cleric channel.
Ah, speaking of 2020,
I thought you'd like
uh,
that as another segue. That's what I'm
I
here
know.
for. I'm here to give you segues to your next topic.
Yeah. Um, some changes coming to the universe of the what we call it? Would we call it the Geekverse? Maybe the Professor and Fan Man and
The community,
Big
sure.
Al and
Yeah, yeah,
Troy.
yeah.
This our little network of personalities. Uh, as most of you probably know, uh, Professor Geek's office hours is going to be returning. Professor Geek now has membership available with all kinds of special stuff. He's done a video on it. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. This and possibly next Tuesday. I'm not sure how next Tuesday is going to run. It being New Year's Eve. You said something about you wanted to do a
Well,
movie rewatch.
yeah. I mean, originally I had wanted, if because I assumed that nothing was happening, I was going to just do like the regular office hours slot. But I would take
Right.
it up to midnight so that we could just kind of count down the new year together, those of you that want to.
Now, are
But
we talking? Are we talking East
I
EST
was going to do
midnight?
it both. I was going to do Eastern, and then we'd chit chat for another hour, and then we'd count it down again
Right.
for Central Time. I'm sorry, I could not make it for any of you that might be out on the left coast. I'm too old for
Those
that kind of a late night.
those
But
lefties.
yeah, exactly. But
Those Westerners.
exactly. But
So let's. So yeah, let's. Well, why don't you go ahead and plan that? I downloaded the movie,
so
so I
yeah,
do
so
have it.
let me
And Alicia Witt's in it as
yes,
a
yes, she
witch.
is. So let's back up a second because we got to fill everybody in. So the original plan had been that this Saturday, and I think this is still true, Al, you're going to be hosting.
Still a plan.
Go ahead. Yeah, this
I will be
Saturday
hosting
you are hosting what movie again?
Ghostbusters 2.
Ghostbusters 2, which happens to be set at New Year's. It's not a New Year's movie,
Yep,
but it is a movie that is set at
yep.
New Year's.
It's a movie
Uh,
that is set at New Year's.
And I said, well, the following week, then what I'd like to do is I would like, because it would have been my week to do the rewatch. I said, I would like to do my film that is set at New Year's, and that would be Four Rooms. However, the professor's kind of like Al was saying before, he's come back and he's coming out of retirement, semi-short retirement. And he had suggested, because he wants to lead into the new year with his book study of the Thrawn trilogy, and probably also because of Star Wars being out, he said, hey, let's do Return of the Jedi. So I said, well,
Return of the Jedi.
I'm all for Return of the Jedi in 2 weeks. And then I said I could do Four Rooms literally on Christmas Eve, or New Year's Eve. So I think next week we'll still kind of do the whole chit chatty office hours kind of thing, but in addition, I'll do a rewatch of the movie Four Rooms. Now I don't know where it's showing. I don't know if it's on any of the streaming services. It's not. Is it?
It's available. I'll just say I got it. So it's out there.
It's available if you want to sail the high seas. I mean, that I could assume, but I happen to have it on DVD. But it's a movie that I'm guessing that most of you all probably haven't even ever heard of. So I don't know if it's on like Hulu or Amazon or any of those. But if it is, I'm hoping you guys.
We got a week to kind of like search and see if we can find something on somewhere. I mean, and if not, it'll be fun to just listen along if you don't want to necessarily watch. I know a lot of you guys don't watch, but just like to listen.
Yeah.
We'll try.
Auditor Dread, yes. Next, a week from this Saturday, we're doing Ghostbusters 2.
Who are you gonna call?
Ghostbusters twice, but yeah. So I think that'll be fun. And then I'm assuming then that after next week, then the professor's taking back the Tuesday night slot. Am I correct?
Yep, Tuesday night slot will once again be
office hours.
Professor, but he may not go every week.
Okay,
still up in the air. So there's an opportunity, possibly once in a while, for somebody to slip in and kind of hold that time slot up.
And like I was telling the professor, I mean, that's really all we were doing anyway, was just, I've only ever seen these Tuesday nights as us just hanging out, keeping the community together, and keeping his spot warm for him, so to speak.
Yeah. So
I don't mind filling in for him or whatever.
He'll be coming back. He's also going to start doing. He's going to start doing series. Like he's going to start with My Hero Academia. I'm not sure exactly how he's going to structure that. Like when he's going to do it. What night? Possibly Saturday, but. Saturday nights we'll always keep as a rewatch, either me, Troy, or possibly the professor. We'll watch a movie and have a lot of fun on Saturday night. Saturday night's going to be movie night. And now that I don't have to worry about Tuesdays as much, I have much more flexibility in doing rewatches on a Saturday night. Whenever I need to, whenever or however, and with whoever. And I also have an opportunity to do afternoons with Al again once in a while. Just random pop up chats in the middle of the afternoon. It's usually like me and about anywhere between 8 and 10 people, but it's fun, and it's something and it's a lot more interaction with the chat that unfortunately we get to do here. Read every comment as it comes across because just for something to do. And if you want to listen to something funny, go back and check out some of the old ones. Because when I pop on, there's nobody there. I just kind of
It's
sing,
just me
and
talking to myself.
just me, just waiting for somebody to show up. Yeah, I just gotta do silly stuff like that. So I'll keep that alive.
But yeah, that's the other thing too. I don't know how the professor did it for as long as he did, so I certainly do understand him stepping away. But yeah, with a little bit more free time, I'll start doing videos again, either on this channel, on my channel, or I can actually start doing some Klingon cleric videos. I really want to
mhm.
do that. That is really my 2020, what do you call it, resolution or whatever, is to really start doing some Klingon content.
Right. Mine is to lose weight, like it has been for the last 40 years.
Well, I
But
get
this
that.
year, I'm really going to try because I need to do something. But yeah, so that's what's coming in the year ahead. If you guys ever have any, I know we've had a lot of suggestions for movies. Some of the movies that will happen, The Mummy will happen. I've got it, and I'll do it in like a few, sooner than
Do you
later.
mean Boris
Uh,
Karloff or do you mean Brandon Fraser?
I mean Brendan Fraser, The Mummy, and I also have The Mummy Returns. So
I was just going to say,
we
if
could
we
do.
do that, then let's do like The Mummy one week
I
and do
want
The
to
Mummy
do.
Returns the following week.
Yeah, that's a good possibility. I would love to do Karloff's Mummy. I can't find it
I'll hook
online
you
as
up.
a whole.
I'll hook you up.
Uh, I got Dracula. I got Frankenstein. I think I need the Mummy and the Werewolf. I got Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Here's the thing. I've
I'm
got
trying to
the
get.
whole DVD collection of
I
the
got Prime.
Universal thing, so I could just rip it
Ooh.
if you need me to. Oh, I mean, I could find some way to find it for you legally online if needs be.
Ah,
Since this
that
is being
sounds very.
since this is being
That sounds.
broadcast to the public.
That sounds very interesting. To legally have them available. Yay! And the crowd rejoices. Oh, that sounds like I'm gonna have to do my path on the Holy Grail too.
Yeah.
So yeah, they'll happen sooner or later. Definitely, they've been bandied about, and now with two of us here, like I said, even if it comes down to Saturday afternoon and I have nothing else to do, I'll stream a movie on my channel, and I'll warn everybody ahead of time. But
Yeah.
if I like I said, we've done a couple of um, matinees, and I think they went rather well. I think they were very well. So we did House and Dale and Tucker during
That
Halloween.
Dale and Tucker was a lot of fun, man. I
That
am
was fun,
so
too,
glad
man.
that you pulled me in on that one.
That's a movie that's a lot of fun. But there's a lot of good movies out there. Even old stuff. Like I said, I wanted to do King Kong. Um,
Which
and
version? There's
the
there's
original,
three I can think of.
or the original. I want to do the original.
Yeah.
And yeah, Fay Ray, the original. But yeah, I have the '76 version too.
Yeah.
Which, if you
Oh,
watch the
Jessica
final,
Lange. Oh God, I had such a
which
crush on her.
which is beautiful, but it's really, I mean, the special effects of that film are horrid.
They were hit
Like,
and miss. Some of them were really good. Some of them were really not good.
yeah, because speaking of hit and miss, I watched like the last part. I wanted to see because I remember it. I was like, well, let me refresh my memory of the end. But when the helicopters are flying around Kong,
Yeah. Yeah.
just
Yeah.
how bad those effects were. Ugh. But yeah, I don't know if I'd want to watch that one, but it's a cool one to have. With it. And I don't know if Stephen Cruz is on here, but I do have Showgirls.
Oh, that one is just
Might have to do
painful.
I have to do a late night one. Yeah, but the pain gets eased by some other things.
If
So
if that's what you're interested in, you'd a much
I
better
may or
movie, I think, would be Demi Moore's Striptease. That was a good movie. I think it's a very
yeah,
underrated movie.
yeah, I saw, but that's Burt Reynolds is in that too, right?
Yes, he is.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I saw a lot of that. Yeah, that's a good one too. No, I know for no, I know full well that Showgirls is a horrid film. As far as
I think the best
what
thing about it is Kyle MacLachlan being in that movie.
yeah, that's pretty well. I think the best thing about it, the two best things about that film are the girl are the is the girl from
Saved by
Saved
the
by the
Bell.
Bell.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
weird.
yeah,
I
weird, but
swear I expected her to get up on stage and do, I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
I have that shirt. I have that. If you ever go to 80s tees, there's one with her that says, I'm so excited. On the back says, I'm
I'm
so
so
scared.
scared. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I, that was one of the free shirts I won from 80s tees.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
was like,
Corvette.
wow, that's
Corvette
a rare
rocked.
one.
Yeah. Elizabeth Berserkley. Right. That's her name.
Yeah, Elizabeth Berkley. Yeah. Beautiful. I mean, beautiful girl, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, yes, it's a ponderous film to watch. It truly
Yeah.
is.
Not a great career choice on her part.
Nah, but it was a choice.
It was,
Uh,
yeah, it was a choice. That's true. It was.
yeah, but I'm just wondering how people would feel like if I pulled out a film that is a fun film to me and like very under the radar. Not a lot of people would know it, and I don't even know if it's available. It might be available like to rent or something, but a film like Midnight Madness from 1980. It's
Midnight
about a
Madness.
little
I think Nanette told me about that.
scavenger.
Is Michael J. Fox in that movie?
Michael J. Fox, David Naughton from
Yeah.
American World.
I've never seen it, but Nanette's told me about it.
Pee Wee Herman's even in it for like 5 minutes.
Right, right, right.
Eddie Deason, if anybody knows Eddie Deason from the Grease movies, he's in it. That's a film I think would be fun. When Lister pushing MacGyver again. But yeah, like a weird film like that, just something out of left field that I've been wanting to watch again, and I just think it'd be kind of fun to watch with other people watching it with me. And there are a lot of films I can't find online that I really need to like one day get into my DVD case and when I finally get like a new computer and stuff and just rip some stuff in, like The Big Bus. Do you ever watch The Big Bus?
I don't think so.
1976. Sorry, Ed Bologna, Rene Auberjonois in it. The one who played Hot Lips in the film, not Loretta Swit, but
Yeah, I don't remember.
yeah, don't know who's in the original Star Trek. Uh, where no man's gone before, and who got powers died with the other guy on the planet. She's in it, but it's a fun film. It's just a goofy '70s film. It's just awesome.
So
But yeah, so that's some stuff to think
I wanted
about.
to mention that it looks like, if I'm reading this correctly, I was mentioning 4 Rooms for next week. It looks like it's on Prime, it's on Google Play, YouTube, iTunes Store, whatever Vudu is, Verizon. I don't know if any of those are like it's part of a streaming package or if you'd have to rent it, but
probably rent them.
but I should think Prime would be like, it would be part of your Prime, wouldn't it? I mean, I don't know. I don't know how that works.
Nah, I don't think. I don't know. Like I said, we'll look and we'll definitely let you guys know. Um,
It's on Prime.
it's a free.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow,
So if you subscribe to
it's
Prime,
free
it's
on
there.
Prime. There
Yeah.
you go.
So there you go. Oh my gosh.
Yep.
If you guys have Prime and you can watch it with us next week, that would be so awesome because it really is a good movie. Al, have you ever this is going to sound like a completely out in left field question, and I am not suggesting this is a rewatch, but have you ever seen the Spy Kids movies?
Yes.
You have seen them. Okay. Because there is and you know that Antonio Banderas plays the father in those movies.
Right. And
there is
Carla Gugino plays the mom. Carla Gugino is the mom.
Yes, she is. And but the reason I bring that up is because Antonio Banderas is also in 4 Rooms, and there is a joke that homages his character from the Spy Kids within 4 rooms.
Oh,
So,
cute.
and or is it the other way around? I don't know which came first. But when you see it, you'll be like, oh, I get it. I see what they're
Uh,
doing there. You
yeah.
know.
Honor to Dread. Would you guys ever do John Carpenter's The Thing? Darn right, we do John Carpenter's The Thing. I actually was
Actually, if we do
thinking
that,
about it.
I'm not only fired up about that, but then we have to do all three of the John Carpenter what is it called? Apocalypse films or whatever. It would have to be The Thing, Prince of Darkness, and At the Mouth of Madness. And I would be
Oh,
totally up
okay.
for doing those three. Yep,
Okay,
absolutely.
I have not seen the other two.
Oh, it's wow. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's some good stuff.
I'll have
Some
to look for
really
those.
head trippy type stuff.
I have to look for them.
Correction.
Uh,
Again, have Amazon Prime, you do have to pay for a rental
You do have to pay
for
for.
4 rooms. Yeah.
Okay, so Nanette confirmed it would be a rental if you have it on if you have Amazon Prime. So
yeah,
sorry guys, unless you're sailing the high seas, it might be something you'd have to pay for if you're going to watch it along with us next week.
yeah. Sir Torrin Clegane, Sally Kellerman. Thank you. I couldn't remember the name. I'm terrible with names. God, names just fly out of my head nowadays. I used to have a pretty good memory, but ever since I had issues with medication back when I had that operation, it was like my brain is mush.
I don't even have that excuse. My brain is moosh. But there you go.
Sir Torrin Clegane said people regularly confuse him with Eddie Deason. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad. I think Eddie Deason is funny as hell. He's the perfect geek. He's the perfect geek foil. Um, he could be the irritating like the irritating snotty geek, or he could just play the geek that's always getting put down. But I always liked Eddie Deason. He's kind of neat. But yeah, a lot of stuff coming up. But like I said, Cleric's going to finally get an online presence, and Professor Geek is coming back.
I am fired up about that.
After an absence, so I'll be looking forward to doing that. And I'm sure Troy will be popping in too.
And I just want to say again, the only reason that I'm even here is because we've been just keeping the professor's seat warm for him. We all miss him. We all want him to come back. So what we got to do, remember, he's now got the membership. What? No, it's not called membership. What's it called on his channel?
I think it is called membership.
Membership. You join or whatever.
Yeah, you join him.
Do that. Make sure that you make doing these videos. Let him know how much he's appreciated with those dollars, because that's what makes it possible for him. Otherwise, he's got to go, take a 9-to-5 type of thing, and then we miss out, because then he's got to go. Sorry, got to go to work, and then we don't get the videos, and then you end up with me, and you don't want that. You want the professor.
Yeah, and the reason Troy's been my co-host is because nobody else wanted to do it. I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean,
actually, you were the first person I actually. Well, I knew, like I said, when Professor Geek went out, and I knew Chris wouldn't do it. First person I thought of, boom, Troy. I was like, "Hey, Troy,
I appreciate
that. Want to do a show with me?"
And listener, I appreciate it too. But I mean, that's nice of you. But let's face it, the professor's like, premier, and we're like the weak substitutes.
He's also good straight man.
Yeah, well, yes, that's true too. I mean, he absolutely is, and I kind of walk the fine line between the two.
Yeah, and I'm total comic relief. So
yeah,
that's why I think me and him always had good rapport.
Yeah.
Is because he's Abbott and I'm Costello. So, that works.
So we have the magnet up on our fridge of the Geek Stooges, you, Fan Man, and the Professor, and then that's like, well, they could put you in there somewhere, couldn't they? And I'm like, I think if they were to add me somewhere, we'd have to move it to to like the Marx Brothers. I'd have to be like I don't know,
You're
Gummo or something like that.
yeah, you're Gumbo. I'd be who the hell would I be?
I think you'd be
Would I be
Harpo.
Chico?
No.
Harpo?
I think that
Fan
well,
man is Chico.
Fan Man is Groucho. There is no doubt about
Oh,
that.
yeah. Well, we can also like said, there are other Stooges out there, and
That's
I
true
mean,
too.
you could be Shemp.
I could be Shemp. I'd be good with Shemp. I wouldn't mind
Yeah,
that.
Shemp is very underappreciated as a
He
Stooge.
really
By the way,
is. He really is.
yeah,
He was
Shemp, Shemp is awesome.
You're both
Um,
curly.
no, I am not curly. I
I,
can't I think that's definitely Al. He is
yeah,
definitely the curly of the
I am
group.
I am the curly of that group. There is Curly Joe, but kind of worked. And there was Joe Davola, who just hated it. He hated being a Stooge,
Yeah.
and then they brought in Curly Joe, and he was pretty good. I think he was the last one.
Was that
Um,
Joe Bester? Was that his
I
name?
think was it Joe Best? No, I think. Oh no, there was Joe Besser, and then there was another Joe, wasn't there?
There was three
What
Joes.
there were? I think there were three
Jeez.
Joes.
The
Let me
three
now.
Stooges and the three Joes, for crying out loud.
I gotta look it up because I'm be thinking of Besser, but I might be thinking of somebody else. I might be thinking of Davola, but I can't. I'm having trouble picturing them in there. The Three Stooges. Did you ever see the film that they did? Not the cinematic film, but it was a TV film, and it was about them trying to get back together because the TV package
No, I don't
had
think so.
had gotten it at the end. They go, um, there were okay, there was Mo and Larry. Well, come on, Joe.
By,
Okay, Joe.
by the way, to all of you guys on the East Coast, Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Joe. Oh yeah, Merry Christmas. Yeah, Joe. It was Joe Besser, and there was Curly Joe Dorita,
That's right.
and um, and Curly Joe Dorita was the last one, and he fit them very well, but he was the youngin. It was Mo and Larry, and they started with Shemp, and then Curly came in, and then Shemp came in again because Shemp hated the physical comedy. I think he was getting beat up. It just didn't set well with
That's
him.
the kind of thing where it's like, well, had you never seen these movies, what did you think you were getting into? You know, really?
But I think I just think it took a toll.
Yeah.
And he came back only because Curly had a stroke, and then like I said, Shep passed, and that's when
Yeah.
Joe Besser came. Joe Besser was only there for a couple of years, and just didn't like it. It just wasn't his thing. And then Joe DeRita came in, and he was with him until the end.
Yeah. Yeah, that was kind of sad. Losing Joe and Curly having a stroke. It was just, and you really felt like Larry and Mo kind of they were just going through the motions. It was like, well, really, they really were. It was literally contractual obligations. You know, otherwise they would have stopped doing it. But what are you going to do?
Yeah, and they always wanted to do movies. They didn't want to do shorts. They wanted to do a real full movie, and they just were never allowed to. And in fact, it wasn't until they got with Joe DeRita and later on when they got finally like out from under the thumb of the wrong people, and they got a chance. They did a couple of films like Snow White and the Three Stooges, Have Rocket Will Travel.
Yeah.
Okay, here's a list: Three Stooges Meet Hercules, Three Stooges in Orbit. Yeah, they did a few. Go Round in the World Days, and The Outlaws is Coming. I never heard of that one. Oh, that's a Western. I gotta see that one. I haven't seen that one. But yeah, I love the Three Stooges. They were great. You just don't find like really good groups like that anymore. Everybody's more single. You don't really find those double acts a lot anymore. But
Yeah, unfortunately, the double acts that are out there are not funny. I mean,
yeah, not like they used to. Well, like I said, once you've had Laurel and Hardy, Abbott Costello, and Martin and Lewis, but
oh, Martin and Lewis. Oh my
uh,
God, there is no one like Martin and Lewis. Oh
Martin,
my gosh.
they were fantastic. And then, of course, you like I said, you get the larger guy, the larger ones, the Three Stooges, the Marx Brothers, and stuff like that. And you just don't find that kind of comedy anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
That well done. And and I know a lot of people think it's derivative nowadays, but that's because they did it.
That's
They did it
because
first.
back then, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. I remember as a
yeah,
kid watching Martin and Lewis films like on Saturday afternoons or whatever, and I would laugh so hard I would be crying and my sides would be hurting. Oh my gosh, that was so funny. I
yeah,
oh my gosh.
yeah. I remember the week. I remember some weekends when I was a kid. You could always count on Three Stooges, Abbott Costello, and there was always a Tarzan movie
Yeah.
playing like on a Sunday morning, and it's like I miss it because
And we were talking about the Marx Brothers. Last Saturday when we were doing White Christmas, I mentioned this variety show that we did in grade school, and the two girls that I first dated did the sister act, and that same variety show I did. I played Groucho in a little truncated version of Animal Crackers, and
oh,
that
cool.
yeah, and that was not only was that fun, it was I honestly think it was hysterical in that kind of Carol Burnett kind of way, where we were like cracking each other up on stage, and that in and of itself was funny. You know what I mean?
Right.
Where we were really going
Yeah.
out of our way to make each other laugh, which had the audience rolling. But so yeah, so Animal Crackers became my favorite Marx Brothers.
I was a I was in a production was a senior. It was our senior class play. We did Arsenic and Old Lace,
Uh-huh.
and I was Teddy. I was Teddy Brewster. If you know the play, right?
Yes, I do.
Do you know? Yeah, I was Teddy Brewster, the one who thought he was Teddy Roosevelt.
Right.
And there was a scene where Dr. Einstein is supposed to come up from the basement and confront Jonathan. Well, Jonathan's standing there, and Dr. Einstein missed his cue because as the drama teacher
Right.
was talking to him. So you're supposed to be on stage, supposed to be on stage. And so he rushes to get on stage and he goes to the wrong door as Jonathan is looking down into the basement door to see where where he is. Like, why are you on stage? And it was just the funniest thing. And he just did this little thing where like he looked at the basement door and then he goes over to the door he came in, looked at that, and then goes back to the basement door, looked at it, and he just looked at me and just full theatrical voice goes, "How the hell did you do that?" and he's like, "Never." And then Einstein just goes, "Never mind," and then boom, right back into it. That was one of the greatest like flubs. And I
I'll
was
tell
lucky
you,
that's the one we were taking.
sometimes those things just make a production. That's why live theater is just so awesome. I was in a production of Peter Pan in high school, and so I played Jonathan, the kid with the top hat and the glasses, right? And
Okay, yeah.
the first song is Tender Shepherd. We're all going to sleep before Peter comes in through the window, right? And the mother comes in and she's, singing the song and tucking us in. And what she's supposed to do is she's supposed to give us all a kiss. Okay. So I get in and I'm facing away from the audience. I look up to get my kiss, and I look up at her and I do the Harpo Marx face, the crossed eyes, the puffed out cheeks, and the big lips. And she almost lost it. And she stops and she just pats me on the head and then goes on to Michael's bed. And I thought, okay, this was classic. This was awesome. And she pulled it off well, and it was wonderful. Get backstage, and she starts hitting me. She's like, "You son of a bitch, you almost made me break character." I'm like, almost is the key word. You did not break
Yeah.
character. That was very professional of you.
Yeah, well done.
Yeah, exactly. That was the same performance where we were having problems in the there's two scenes where the crocodile is supposed to come on. And remember, this is a high the props, we make all the costumes and stuff, and the crocodile was this guy in a costume on a little dolly, and he had to crawl across on his stomach, on casters. Well, his hands were covered in these like gloves, and he was sliding on the wood of the stage, so he wasn't moving, and it was just painful because he had to go across the stage, and it was so slow. And thank goodness that we had a great team that would be like, look, they come out of hiding, and then they look, and then they look at the audience, and they just kind of go, I don't know, and then they go back to hiding, and then someone else would come out and look at a watch that isn't on their wrist, and would crack people up. So then we decided the second time he had to go later on across the stage, we were going to push him. So you get the scene where Captain Hook runs off stage, and we pushed him out, and he just goes zing across the stage, and the theater just bursting in laughter because the guy is on this caster. He's going as he's flying across the stage. It was hysterical. It's one of those, oh God, the memory, Anyway,
Yeah.
just had to share that.
Yeah, we did a production of The Invisible Man on stage. It was, I forget, just regular high school production type. And one of the special effects is to have a wristwatch, like dancing on stage with like the thinnest wire you can get. Well, we were kind of playing a few things for laughs. So we had this wristwatch that was about a foot wide. It's like, there's the Invisible Man walking on stage. It just looked hysterical. And there's one point where the Invisible Man starts fighting the sheriff, the sheriff's, he's pretending to fight the Invisible Man. And he goes off stage for a quick, and you hear like bang, boom, boom, bang, 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 and then suddenly this stuffed sheriff gets thrown out on stage, and just just so poor. It's like just such a bad, stuffed replica.
Yeah.
And one of the things we decided to come up with was suddenly you start hearing these paramedic sirens, and I was one of the paramedics. I was the stand-in for the Invisible Man, but I was one of the paramedics. We had to come down and take out. We had a stretcher, and we were wearing our paramedic outfits, and got the dummy, put him on the stretcher, and like wheeled him out. just through the audience. So it was like off stage.
Yeah.
So it was breaking that fourth wall thing, and just weird. God, I do miss those high school production days. I never did anything like that since, except for like the stuff I did when I was in the medieval group, and we would do stuff and presentations for people and stuff. But
I've actually done quite a bit, even before I was in high school, even before that that variety show in grade school. I actually did some professional theater. I was in the Music Man at the Candlelight Dinner Playhouse here in Summit. It's not there anymore, but it was dinner theater, and for like 6 months it ran, and I did a performance every night and 2 on Sundays, and so actually the fact that they're going to be doing a new movie version of the Music Man with Hugh Jackman, I'm really kind of looking forward to that. But
wow, that's good casting.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
So I actually had that professional experience. Got my my thespian card before I even started in high school, and then I did a couple plays in high school, and then I did some things with the church, and then I got into the whole Victorian thing, and we did well. I mean, we've done these conventions that are just completely immersive, which is in many ways interactive theater is really all it is.
Yeah.
So I've done a great deal of performance. So that's why I always joke with people about, if I have to give a speech or if I have to, get in front of people. I'm like, yeah, I'm real shy and introverted, so I'll do my best.
Yeah. Yeah. I do like, I go back. It was a way for me to fight some of my shyness in high school
Uh,
because I was big in high school too. So I was the fat kid that everybody kind of laughed at. But I did a few things. We did, like I said, Lizzie Borden. I played. It's funny. Like most of the things that I did, it was always like we always had a horror kind of tinge to it. The Invisible Man, and then we did Lizzie Borden of Fall River.
yeah.
And I played the guy with the axe, the guy who owned the axe.
I'm just thinking the Invisible Man. If you guys didn't do this, you really missed an opportunity. There's that whole bit where he like undoes the bandages and is invisible underneath. You could have done the whole black bodysuit, black mask thing against a black background, and that would have been such a cool effect. If you guys didn't do that, you really missed the opportunity.
I'm not even sure how the script went for it because it wasn't
Uh-huh.
like I said, this was kind of a humorous take
Oh,
written,
gotcha.
written by somebody. It wasn't like that serious of a thing. It was a little out there, but
Obviously, a lot of it is going to be the pantomime of other people acting with the
right.
character not even on stage.
Like I said, that's really what it was, and the guy playing this band did a lot of like the vocal stuff. Was just
Yeah,
doing the vocal stuff just behind set.
right.
But yeah, like I said, I had to fill in. I didn't fill in for any performances, but I had to fill in for a lot of the rehearsals because he was sick for a bit, and I got to play the part. And there's just a couple of lines in there that just kind of make people laugh because I was a bigger guy. Everybody said their food is like, this is all the food you got? How I'll starve or something like that. And here, I'm a big guy, and
Yeah,
people like it was that was a, a non-funny line that was made funny because I was of a certain size.
sure.
But yeah, yeah. Wow, it is definitely into Christmas. Well into Christmas. Well, I think we've about run the course for the night.
We
Did you have anything else you want
No,
to?
but I think we should probably recap because we've been through a lot of what's going on, and I think it could have gotten confusing. So the next thing we got is, well, is there something happening Thursday?
But not. I'm not sure what the fan man's got planned.
Okay, so we
Um,
don't know what the fan man's got either Thursday or Friday. We're not sure.
yeah, I'm not
But
sure what's going
so
on
the
with the
next thing
fan man.
for us then is Saturday on
Saturday night,
your channel here is Ghostbusters 2.
Ghostbusters 2 rewatch starting at 10 on Saturday night.
Yep.
Then on Monday is going to be the next two chapters in The Hobbit on the Catholic Bible Geek channel. I believe that may be at 10 o'clock as well. I believe 10 or 11. It might be 11. Uh, just follow the Catholic Bible Geek, and you'll find out when that's going to be. And then next Tuesday we're going to kind of have a
rewatch
fun and a rewatch on your channel of Four
of
Room.
4 Rooms. Now, again, guys, I know it's obscure. I know it's not very easily available. If you are at all able to obtain a copy of it, or if you're willing to pay for it or whatever, it would be really awesome if you did, because I highly recommend it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I guess we'll start at 9 Central,
10 Eastern.
10 Eastern. We'll try to start pretty much on time so that we can Happy New Year, for the East Coast, and then maybe, go another hour
So,
chit
how,
chatting
how we
until,
feel.
yeah, until Central.
Yeah. And then after that, that's when it starts getting fuzzy. That's that. Okay, that's the new year. Then nothing going on, and then I think the following Saturday is going to be on Professor Geek's channel. We'll be watching Return of the Jedi,
Yes.
the final film in the trilogy. So there's that, and after that it gets a little fuzzy, and then the Professor Geek's office hours will return
In the new
uh,
year. Yep.
in the new year. That the first Tuesday. I think it is the first Tuesday. He's gonna be back on office hours, like the
Yep.
seventh.
That would be the 7th. Yeah.
Yes, the seventh office hours returns, and I'll be there with him if he wants me, and we'll see what happens after that. Saturday nights, something will always be happening. If it's not Professor Geek, it'll be me or Troy,
Yep.
or me and Troy, or Troy and somebody, or me and somebody. Who knows? But there'll always be Saturday night will always be a rewatch going on of something, and just keep you on your toes. But there'll always be something. And like I said, you never know. It might just be the odd thing here and there. I'll do afternoons with Al again once things settle down. I'll just kind of pop in on an afternoon, just random, right out of the, hopefully the notices are starting to work. But I'll tweet it out when I'm on, and uh, I enjoy doing that. Just kind of a little Q&A chat, free thinking kind of ramble.
Yep.
That all?
Yep. I think that's about it. I mean, we can't plan out too far in advance.
Yeah, it gets a little, like I said, well, you know what? All this is next year.
Yep.
We don't have to worry about it all till next year. But until then, I hope everyone has a very, very Merry Christmas. Stay safe. Enjoy family if you're with them. If you're not with family, enjoy the silence.
Yep.
Um, just have a lot of fun today, and just just enjoy. And you got anything to add there?
Nope. Just Merry Christmas, everyone. God bless.
Yep.
Take care.
God bless us, everyone. I had to do that because of the Christmas Carol.
Yep. Night all.
Good night.